I picked up this rare Troy Bilt Mower. This carburetor is looking spotless. 50. That is absolutely terrible. Piston rings could be the problem, so I'll strip it down and take a look. We measured the ring gaps. They're almost 3 times the gap should be. Found one set for sale, the last one in stock on Amazon, so I immediately ordered them up. So hopefully in the next video we'll get this all together. Right, so all of our parts arrived. Got our genuine Brick & Stratton head gasket, made in the USA. Oh my god. And then we got our full gasket set. And most importantly, our genuine Brick & Stratton piston ring set. Right, we got a little paper here. It says the one with one paint stripe facing to the right. That one goes in the top. Not that it matters for us, we're just measuring these right now. Less than that, it's looking good. It's fitting a 0.006, which is just what we want. So that's perfect. Now I'll measure our second one. Now this ring gap, if I remember correctly, the middle one should be anything from a 0.012 and this is a 0.015. So this is within a 0.002 of an inch in spec from the smallest you can have the spec. So this is perfect. So that means we have not much actual wear on the cylinder head. And it comes in at a 0.21. Right, I got all my rings measured out, because this has been sitting for a wee while. Make sure everything is nice and clean. Make sure that is spotless in there. This piston, it's got a bit of dirt on it, so I'll use some brake cleaner. Get in between those gaps there. Just pour yourself a little cup of oil. It's a definite must to clean all your parts when reassembling an engine that you've had stripped in the workshop for a wee while. Alright, here's our paper. A is a central ring. It has 2 strips, and it must be installed to the right hand side. Like so. So we've got 1 gap, 2 gap, 3 gap. We need to move this one slightly along. Now we're going to make sure we add enough oil on here. And also can reach on this crank here. That's 3. Add a little oil in the head. Add a bit of oil here. Get rid of all the dog hair. up evenly. Oh, sweetheart, I think wants letting in. Hello! Oh, hello. Do you want to go inside? Let me go. Good girl. Do love my workshop. Did a wee bit more work on that to tidy that up. Although that's looking lovely. Added a few decals on this actually. And I actually straight piped the exhaust, cut it all open, ripped the inside out, straight pipe, and then I added my own little muffler at the end so it sounds mint. I had to rebuild the front end because it was wobbly here, because the chainies didn't put it together correct. They didn't pass the MOT, so I had to redo that. But otherwise, as a cracking wee bike. Always slightly concerns me that like this is just pressed together here. It's like, whoa, you can wobble the rear wheel, but there's chainy stuff for you. It's a wee death trap, but I mean, it's pretty good for 50. You probably got as much of a death risk as you got on 1,000, because this little thing at 60 is mental. You get some speed wobble on it. Anyways, let's get this thing rebuilt. Because it's taking a bit of space up in the workshop. That's one tappet. Two tappets. One downside of having an engine open, one has to clean all the parts before you put them back together. That's when if one has a shop, you have the parts ready there and you slap them back together. Anyways, bit of oil on tappets. And I like if you oil them up also. They usually stay for a minute. So you just have enough time to pop the cam in. It round, get our marks here. Timing marks lined up right like that. Remember to dry off all your parts after you've sprayed them down with degreaser and cleaner, so that it doesn't contaminate the oil. This stuff anyway is quick drying, so zap evaporates in no time. Right, also add it. Might as well replace this oil seal with a new one here. So we'll just pop that out. we're still gonna lower this oil seal a bit more. Right around there. Needs to be just below the slight groove lip around there, so that's perfect. I have cleaned this up here, and I have cleaned all the bolts up, got rid of the thread locker. Now, usually can use a smidge of thread locker, but I don't have any at the moment, and I'm not a fan of the stuff because it sometimes, when you take it out, ruins the aluminium threading. Because when I took these off, someone had used the red stuff, which is permanent lock, which is bad. You should use the blue, which is non-permanent. Alright, now we are getting there. This little sucker needs to be right like that. We're going to pop our brand new gasket on. Put the engine upright. Make sure that your little governor is perfectly on there. This socket should just slide right on. And there we go. Right, got a whole handful of bolts here, all the same length, so we'll just pop them in. So on the gentlest setting, so just gently pop them all in. Alright, let's get these suckers torqued down. We'll just set it to 15 right now. Slowly tighten these all up. Right, won't bore you with it. I'll just torque these down, and you do a third, and third all the way around, and then we'll crank it up, and I can show you the final torque. Right, and for our final torque at 20 lbs. Right, that's this sucker torqued down to spec. We are going to now start assembling the head, I guess. Yep, got a brand new genuine Briggs & Stratton head gasket. Place that bad boy right there. Pop our bolts in. Right, and we are getting there. But we're at 25 Newton meters, which is 220 inch-pounds, whatever it's called. That's what it calls for. Alright, there's a head bolted down. Now for our valves. Alright, just drop them down. And I need to go on the little pushing tappets at the base. Just top that center right there. Alright, so I want 6 thousandths for the exhaust, which is the top. That feels good. And around a 4 or 5 for the intake. Right now a 5, so I need a smidgy tighter. 4 fits nice there. Always you can check if it's a good width by seeing if a large one fits. If a large one fits, then you're slightly too loose. Right, I think that's just how we want it. Got a new gasket for here. Just give all of this a little oil. Right, that's that all sorted. It's finally starting to look like an engine. I'll just get the rest of the parts on. That's the engine all back together. We'll get it onto the chassis now. Right, that's the engine on. I'll sort the belts out down there. They're a bit of a faff. And then we can bolt on the rest of the covers, fill the engine up with oil and fresh fuel, and then see if it runs. I checked how much oil is in here, so I roughly need all of this. I'll check the level, we might need a little bit more. That actually looks perfect. Around the halfway mark. Check the oil, of course, after run it in, because usually it needs a little more oil. But it looks perfect, ready for test run. Before I forget, we need to drain out this fuel tank. Alright, and for the test run, let's see if she fires. I'll just let her warm up a little bit, circulate the oil, check that, and then we can go mow some lawns. You lower the idle a bit. Alright, let's check the soil level. so hard to tell because it's such fresh oil. Definitely got, I think it's on the slightly lower side of the hashes, but I'll run it in, use around the place, and then check if it needs a fill up. The carburetor might need a few tiny adjustments because it's a brand new carburetor, so we can check about doing that next. Right, now we can adjust it by half a turn. Well, a quarter of a turn that way and a quarter turn that way, so half a turn. So that's all perfect. Let's go mow some grass. Right guys, so I hope you enjoyed the video. This machine cuts amazing, I'm very impressed. And it just speeds this lawn that was like 5 minutes there. The entire huge lawn is cut. It's almost better than a rider mower, at least my rider mower is not so great. So it's a fantastic thing. If you enjoyed this video, please check out these. And I'll catch you all next time.